Please allow me to ask you a weird question that is the perfect metaphor for today's episode, and that will give you some insight on how you can incentivize a man to commit to you in a way that actually makes him want to commit to you. And the question is, what is your favorite dish? And now you might be saying, what does my favorite dish have to do with me making a man commit to me? Well, imagine yourself in the following situation. Imagine you go to a restaurant with one of your friends and you're sitting down, you're taking the menu, and you don't know what the restaurant has to offer. And you're not sure if you want to take the salad or if you want to take the rice or if you want to take the chicken. You just don't know. You're not sure. You don't want to commit to a meal. It's like, I don't know. Which one do I want to take? I mean, this one might be good. That one might be good. Or maybe this one. And then suddenly it happens. You look at the third page of the menu and there it is, your favorite dish. And you immediately say, yep, I'm gonna take this. The waiter doesn't even have to wait for your order. You already scream it at him while he's coming to your table because you want to eat your favorite dish, because it makes you feel good. It makes you feel incredible. The moment you take the first bite, you are on cloud 9 and you feel like, oh, this tastes so incredibly good. This is so delicious. Oh, I'm so happy that I chose this meal. So let me ask you a second question. Is it hard for you in this situation to commit to this meal? Of course not. Before, you might be looking at the menu, left, right, and center. You're not sure which one you want to take. You think, oh yeah, I mean, they all sound kind of good, maybe, I don't know. But the moment you see your favorite meal, that's when you commit to that meal. And it's not really a hard commitment. It's not a difficult one. It's not something that you have to think about. It just happens immediately in the moment. Why? Because your taste buds know that this meal is incredibly delicious. Your taste buds also know that you will feel so good after this meal and also while you're enjoying it. And this meal just leads to a more happy and fulfilled evening. And if you could eat that meal all the time, oh my God, you would be so much happier in your life than if you, for example, would always have to eat a meal that you don't really enjoy. So now what does that have to do with incentivizing a man to commit to you? And while I was coming up with this metaphor, honestly, I didn't think about the very naughty implications, because now I could say, well, you just have to taste the best for him, but that's not actually what I wanted to say. I didn't want to make it sexual, I promise you. It's just maybe it's a weird metaphor, but I think it illustrates the point very, very good. I hope so. So please bear with me here. What I actually try to communicate without going into different tastes and whatever not, what I wanted to communicate is that if you are the best woman for him that he has ever met, if you are the kindest, aka when it comes to the meal, the best tasting, if you are the woman where he knows that when he's with you, he will feel better, aka you finding the meal on the menu and going, yep, that's my favorite dish, I want to eat that right now because I know it makes me happy. If you are that woman for him, then he will commit to you. Then he'll want to commit to you. The best way to incentivize a man to commit to you is to be the kind of woman for him that he has never met before. And the same happened for me with my girlfriend. I mean, my girlfriend, I can confidently say that she's the kindest, most loving, most loyal, most open-hearted and most empathetic woman and human being that I've ever met in my entire life. And that's why I'm deeply in love with her, and that's why it's so easy for me to commit to her. I mean, she incentivized me to commit to her by being herself, by being this wonderful, playful, loving, loyal, empathetic woman that she is. And that's why now you might want to ask yourself the following question. Am I that kind of woman? Am I the kind of woman who has the qualities and who shows the behavior that make the man that I want to commit to me? And I know that this is a question that we don't want to ask ourselves. I know it is, because it actually requires us to look into the mirror and to maybe also accept certain flaws that we have and to uncover certain maybe hidden traumas or negative behavior patterns that we then want to change in order to attract the partner of our dreams. And I know how you're feeling if you, for example, look in the mirror and you say to yourself, I'm not quite there yet, because I've been that person myself. I mean, if I would have met my girlfriend in my early 20s, I would have messed it up completely because I was not ready yet. But now I am ready. And if you want to make a man commit to you, you have to be ready to be this incredible woman for him. And don't get me wrong, I don't mean that you have to be his servant and you have to do everything that he wants you to do. I believe that you want to be his queen in the same way as he should be your king. But if you are in a relationship with a man who has done his trauma healing, who is emotionally healthy, who is emotionally available, who is ready to open up and to fall in love with you, but there's just something that is stopping him right now. There's something where maybe he doesn't have the feeling that you are the woman who leads to these beautiful emotions that you felt while eating your favorite dish. Then the best way to making him commit to you and the best way to incentivize him to commit to you is to be amazing, to simply be amazing. And no, your physical appearance and your bedroom skills are not the most important factor in this, even though a lot of my coaching clients believed that before they started working with me. The most important factor is that you allow him to open his heart, that you create a strong emotional connection with him, that you create an environment for him where both of you feel comfortable expressing yourselves. And this is for women often easier than for men, because we men have been conditioned all our lives to not show any emotions, to, boys don't cry and man up, to not do any trauma healing. So if you are supportive, not just of his goals and dreams, but you also show that you genuinely care about him and his trauma healing, his journey, his heart opening, all these different aspects, and of course also his success and happiness, then this man will fall for you more and more, he will trust you more and more, and he will also at the same time want to grow for you and to grow for your relationship. This is actually something that we cannot underestimate. The desire of a man who's with a woman who incentivizes and supports and allows and facilitates his personal growth, his trauma healing, his heart opening. This man, if he's emotionally healthy, I mean, of course, I want to make that clear. If we're talking about sociopathic man or psychopath or narcissist, that's another story. But if he's emotionally healthy and there might have been some trauma from the past that stopped him from committing to you, then by you being this amazing woman who facilitates this change, who allows him to step into that role of a man who is secure enough in the relationship and therefore also by default in himself to open his heart and to heal his trauma, then this man, if he's then emotionally healthy, of course, that's the requirement here, he will be committed to personal growth and self-improvement for you and for the relationship with you. Because in this process, he will fall in love with himself more and more, and he will also fall in love with you more and more. And in order to attract such a man who's emotionally healthy, a man who, with taking the right action steps on your side, will easily then commit to you, in order to attract such a man who's then on top of that also successful and accomplished in his life, you need to first fall in love with yourself, and you need to cherish and work on the you relationship, which is the relationship that you have with yourself. And this is why it's so important for me that every woman who joins my 8-week Love Magnet coaching program first realizes the importance of self-love and going through that journey of falling in love with yourself and your life, and to then go through it. Because in my experience as a coach, and the research on that is pretty clear, that if you don't love yourself, if you don't heal your trauma, even if you're not spiritual at all, I mean, I'm a very spiritual man, but even if you're not spiritual at all, we simply can't deny that misery loves its company and that we always attract what is equal to our emotional state. That's why, for example, a lot of the women who I've coached through the Love Magnet coaching program, They were stuck in this vicious cycle of always attracting abusive men in the past because they had never fully loved themselves. They had never fully let go of their trauma from the past. And it's not a secret that, for example, if you as a woman grow up with a narcissistic father or an abusive father, you then, even though consciously you want to experience the opposite, still end up in relationships with the same abuse because your subconscious mind, from you being a child and a teenager, is conditioned to believe that this is love, because up until the age of 7, we are in the same brainwave state as we are in hypnosis, which means our brain as a child cannot distinguish between fact and fiction, and everything that we observe is internalized as our paradigm. And that's why we need to change this paradigm. And that's something that I will work on with you in week number 2 of the Love Magnet coaching program, because week number 2 is all about self-love and the you relationship. And we start this session with a self-assessment and self-reflection about the feelings that you have about yourself. And I then share practical exercises with you that allow you to let go of your old self and to create a new self that is more loving, more accepting, and more compassionate with you. And a lot of my clients actually experience emotional breakthroughs here because they can finally let go of past relationship trauma. And the more you then step into self-acceptance and self-love, which is also something that we practice together, you will then become the woman who naturally attracts a loving and caring and kind-hearted man. And if you want to work with me on that, you can go to gethimkeephim.com/magnet or click on the first link in the description. And if you want to find out more about the individual coaching sessions I offer, if there is something that you want to talk to me about and you want me to give you specific advice that is tailored to your situation, then you might also want to start with an individual coaching session. And by going to gethimkeephim.com/coaching, you can find out more about the individual coaching and hypnosis sessions that I offer.